My name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to the May channel update. And for once, it's not a mixed bag. It's actually mostly positive. Woo! It only took almost half the year to get here. But let's do a quick overview on my personal life stuff, and then we will talk about my reading stuff, and then we will talk about the summer moving forward, because this is a very crucial crossroads time I am at right now. So, first, how's the personal life stuff going? Medically, continues more of the same. Fertility issues are a marathon, not a sprint, but thankfully, I seem to be doing much better on these meds than a lot of other people that I have talked to. I've talked to multiple people, coworkers and friends who are on these meds for either PCOS or diabetes, and they all talk about how they had to get off it in very short order because it made them so sick. And I have finally reached a point where, while I might still have some symptoms, it's really not that bad. So I'm very lucky in that way. Although weight loss can stop, because I hate all of my clothes just being a little bit loose. Like, it's driving me mad. But anyway, in work ways, things are continuing to go fairly well. I don't know exactly what happened, but out of nowhere, it felt like we had this sudden shift in the classroom and we had so much better behaviors. Maybe it was the better weather. I can't really tell, but I don't foresee anything changing in the last few days of the school year we have left in the month of June, because everyone knows the last week of school is like, yeah, you do some work that you have to do to fulfill state requirements or whatever, but beyond that, it's all like class parties and fun stuff, and what are you doing over the summer, and, you know, cleaning up the room and all that kind of fun stuff. We actually have a bounce house coming in this week as part of our class party, and I'm so jazzed. Not that I'm getting in it, but just the vibes that come from having a bounce house with a lot of kids is fun for me. But regardless, the very, very big news that I could not say last month that I can say this month is your girl's gonna be published. I'm so excited. I submitted a proposal for a short story to this anthology called Farther Reefs, which is all about sapphic romances in a nautical setting. I get to write about lesbian pirates and get paid for it. Like, I am over the moon. And June 1st, which, if I am smart, is the day this video is dropping, even though it is May 30th or May 20, what day of the month is it? May 30th, as I film this. There will be a Kickstarter beginning and a bunch more information with that. Regardless of whether or not the Kickstarter meets its goal, it will be published. You will get to read my lesbian pirate story. And I am already in love with them. And I am already like, what if I decided to make this a full book? But we'll take it slow. But regardless, this is a major life goal of mine. And if this goes very well, I will either look into more submissions to anthologies, or I will look into sending a query to this specific indie publisher, because they specialize in queer sci-fi. So this could be the start of things. I'm hyped, also exceedingly anxious, but you know, things. So in a lot of ways, it's changed my outlook on things, because it is so wild to be writing a story knowing for a fact it is going to be published. And of course, there has to be editing and stuff, but I trust myself that I can get it done. So be on the lookout for that by the end of the summer. When it comes to reading, the month of May was a very big turning point for me. You may remember that over the month of April, I was struggling, about to teeter into a very giant reading slump, to the extent that I low-key considered deleting my entire TBR. Instead, I put a pause on my Lower the TBR challenge and just grabbed whatever books looked good to me, and it seemed to work. So for the month of May, I put my Lower the TBR challenge back on, and I have stuck to it, so I've got that going for me, and I actually did a decent amount of reading. Granted, they were a lot of shorter books, but I did read a ton of ebooks that have been on my Kindle for a hot minute, and also got a few more unhauled, so we're still lowering it. I still believe I can get my owned TBR under 200 books by the end of the year, and I'm super excited for that. But also, I was not quite expecting how much of a turning point this month was going to be for my reading, because I low-key undersold myself. Early on in the month of May, it was announced that the next round of Whatever You Want-a-thon or Whatever-thon would be happening in June. I participated in this readathon last year and I absolutely loved it. Now, the point of this readathon is to be very elastic. You are meant to pick your own goal and all of the prompts are optional. The idea is that you need to be honest with yourself and pick a goal that is going to be somewhat of a challenge for you. However, since this came out in early May and I was still not quite sure that I was over my reading slump, I decided to pick 10 books. Now, 10 books is what I average in a month, the average month. So it's not necessarily a stretch for me. However, I was like, well, it was a really big stretch in April, so let's not shoot for the stars when we're not even sure we can leave the ground quite yet. However, as I sit here on May 30th, with only one day left of the month, I've read 12 books. And not only did I read 12 books, but that 12th book, which was a review book, very proud of myself, was split up over several more days than it otherwise would have been. There were some days where I just like, I'm only going to read 40 pages today, or I'm just going to take the day off, purely because I knew I would not want to start another new book before the end of the month because I wanted to start the readathon fresh with no current reads in the month of June. So I definitely undersold myself. I probably could have made that goal way higher. However, because the actual way to like change your goal is like you have to contact an admin and it's a whole process. What I decided to do instead was to make it a challenge in other ways. So instead of the number of books I'm reading, if I hit that 10 books early on in the month for whatever reason, the books that I read after it, because if you read above your goal, it is extra points for your team. And I still want to follow the ethos of the readathon. Any books I read past that 10 are probably going to be the longer ones. I've got several chunky books on my review list, several that are like 500 to 600 pages. So I think I will do that instead. Maybe still reads a lot of smaller books too, but in general, I don't want to feel like I'm cheating just because I was in a weird mental place when I first set that goal. But moving forward, I really got to be careful with the review books. I'm very close to having to close again, to the extent that there are a couple review requests that I have low-key had to be like, let me get back to you, because I know that with me being so close to closed, like I think currently as I sit here, I'll have 1, maybe 2 spots left open. I am more likely to say no on a book that I would otherwise say yes to. And both authors that I had to talk to were like, yeah, cool, take your time, thankfully. So I'm going to try and prioritize those review books over the readathon. And thankfully, with how broad the readathon is, it's really easy to fit review books into it. I love that about this readathon. I just love this readathon in general. But I also am looking forward to a lot of the booktube content that I'm going to be putting out. I have a lot of ideas for rambling discussions and or video essays and just a lot of fun stuff like that I'm hoping to get to. And in general, not necessarily put a lot more focus on my channel, but just actually engage with it more and engage with the community more, because readathons are usually pretty good about that, helping you engage with the community, as long as you find the right readathon. But I have an entire discussion video percolating in the back of my head about my strained relationship with readathons. And now we must talk about the summer moving forward, because this is a very big crossroads time for me. May of 2021, specifically late May, is when my entire year went sideways. Not everything that went wrong last year happened after May, but the vast majority of it did. The foster baby we had been fostering was removed to another foster home in late May, and I grossly underestimated how hard that would hit me, and I grossly overestimated how well I could handle it, because I basically told myself that we'd be fine at the end of summer. We'll take the summer off and then we'll go back to it like it's nothing, apparently. I don't know what I was thinking, like at all. And so now I don't want to do that this summer. Granted, I do want to use my time off to do things for my health, like I've considered getting a general psych eval for a while for any possible neurodivergences, or just in general, I need help keeping my brain out of the hazy places that time off work usually puts me in. But also things like, I gotta look into getting my wisdom teeth removed. Not looking forward to that. I also gotta look into going back to the optometrist. It's been a while. A lot of those boring adult health appointments need to be done. Obviously, I also want to do some reading stuff. I also have a couple trips planned to rent bears or to visit family and that kind of thing. But more than anything else, I want to stick to the small but productive things that will make my life better than honestly trying to overhaul my entire life and be a different person by the end of summer, which I have done to myself multiple times before, trying to treat the 3 months off like a total personal reset button. And it doesn't work like that. We are going to be open to new foster placements just because with the kind of job I work, it helps to not be at working when you get a new foster placement. The first couple weeks of them are the most stressful part and take the most brain power and emotional battery to get everything settled and achieve a new state of normalcy post-transition. So summer is the best time for it. So I don't know if we'll get a new placement or what that will look like. I have no idea as of right now. Summer can either be a super hyper busy time or a super slow time with school being out and no one reporting certain things. But that's going to be my big goal is doing the healthy things, but like the little healthy things, the normal little healthy things that will make me and my household run just a little bit better. I do want to become more eco-friendly. I have found some eco-living YouTubers, and I've been watching things, and I'm starting to take on some tips and tricks, and I'm trying very hard not to be like, I'm going to overhaul my entire lifestyle, because that is how you buy a lot of crap you don't need and then fall off the wagon. So, moving forward, we're going to take it easy and hopefully read a lot of books and hopefully make some fun booktube videos. And I do hope that there will come a day when I can do one of these channel updates and not only be like, hey, it actually didn't suck, but oh my gosh, things are awesome. Which, you know, that will probably come when I decide to do more publishing things. Who knows? But regardless, thank you so much for watching. I honestly don't know exactly how many people even care about these channel updates, but they are very cathartic and incentivizing for me to make, so I love them. And if you like watching them, thank you so much. And with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.